Let's take a look at your main financial indicators now. Warwick Lucas from Galileo Capital joins me in studio now. Thanks so much for your time on SABC News. So the Financial Services Board, together with the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, are coming together to review some stocks which have dropped about 20%. That's on the back of those rumours that Viceroy is compiling a report on a South African company. Perhaps they're going to see if they need to go into a formal probe. What steps would the FSB need to take to determine what's deliberate misinformation that's perhaps been putting out there that could lead to things such as price manipulation?
Okay, so I mean, the first thing is there's, apart from the rumours of Viceroy, there's no other big reports that I'm aware of on the companies affected. Now, I think the thing to look at here is that the name Viceroy has almost become a kind of a lightning rod for corporate misbehaviour, just the same way that Thuli Madonsela was a lightning rod for government misbehaviour. So what we have is a ground that, in the wake of the fallout from Steinhoff and the shock, it's a very fertile ground for any kind of concerned views to get ventilated. And so these dissenting views may very well trigger larger than usual price movements.
Okay. Someone that has been affected by these Viceroy rumours was Aspen. Their share price has been quite volatile in the last week, falling about 10.5%. Yesterday it closed up firmer, and now it's about 4% weaker. What's happening there? All
right, so I think clearly the average buyer that's in aggregate, I guess, managed to stem the share price fall and actually take it higher, decided to take the view that this was a sentiment-driven event and that the share price was a bargain. Now, you know, why might Aspen have been targeted? Well, I think perhaps there's some frustrations that had built up there that haven't been addressed in the past. I mean, one issue possibly could be something like amortization rates, which are a little on the low side, but the devil often lies in the detail with these kind of things.
Property stocks are also a little bit confusing now. What's happening there? Okay,
so the property sector has been on a tear for quite a few years. And you'll often find that in sectors that do very, very well, it's a case that both roses and weeds will grow on the most fertile ground. So the question then gets raised as well, you know, did management do something very different and outsiders just don't really understand the secret sauce, or did they basically cut corners in a moral sense? And the fact is that you don't really know until the full movie is played.
So some Dutch investors, through their association VB, said that they've been approached by South Africans who want to take place in a class action lawsuit against Steinhoff. Will news like this drive the Steinhoff share price even lower?
Well, it certainly has in the past couple of days. At this stage, though, and then the cause of action has still to be properly defined. They've got to quantify just how much the black hole actually was, and how long has it been going on for, and then from that basis one can establish whether or not a shareholder has the right to join the suit.
All the things we've been speaking about now, focus on investors being quite jittery, these prices falling. If I'm watching and I want to invest in something and I'm a little bit nervous, is there a so-called safe place that I can invest, that I won't see something like a Steinhoff happening, that I won't see something like Aspen happening?
There's nothing that tells the truth quite like cash, and particularly companies that actually pay out lots of cash in dividends. Cash can't lie. That's the kind of investment to go for, your big dividend payers.
If I had to put you on the spot and say one safe stock for now, what would you say?
Okay, I would say any of the big banks. They're big dividend payers, and they're subject to massive oversight these days.
Let's go a little bit further. Overseas, oil prices increased to their highest close in more than 3 years, as U.S. industry data signal that crude stockpiles dropped for the 8th week. Is this going to have any effect on us?
Well, potentially yes. It might be part of a broader ongoing positiveness that we're seeing in commodities. We're seeing gold price higher, platinum prices higher, and so on. So oil is rising as part of a general party. I guess there are two potential consequences of that rising oil price. One is US producers starting to come back on stream in shale production, and if the rise in price is too steep, well, potentially inflationary consequences. But if it's a broad commodity gain, well, the South African rand has a habit of tracking positively with commodities, and that may blunt the worst part of any inflationary outcome from a high oil price.
We saw yesterday that this higher oil price might lead to fuel price increases here. People have been quite excited in the beginning of the year with our fuel price drops. If we do see that, around when would it be?
I think it still would have to work its way through, because you'd have to have a new price get established, effectively benchmarked. So you'd see it take a couple of months to actually come through. So as I say, the key thing is here, does the strength in the rand manage to offset the rise in the oil price? And I guess that's an evolving story.
Warwick Lucas from Galileo Capital, thanks so much for your time on SABC News. It's time for a short break.